Welcome to A Corporate Time with Tom and Dan. I'm Tom.
I am Dan.
Hope you guys had a good weekend.
Who's that guy that plays the snowman in Frozen? Josh Gad. That was very Josh Gad.
That guy has a beef with Ryan Reynolds.
What?
Yeah,
Olaf hates Ryan Reynolds?
Yeah.
No, say it ain't so.
Yeah, I saw on TikTok he says he's a D-head.
I think
and he
Josh
bullies
Gad.
him.
I think Josh Gad looks like a D-head.
Yeah, he does kind of seem
Doesn't
like a
he look
D-head.
like a D-head?
Yeah.
You know who I found out low-key is a D-head? It's confirmed. John Krasinski.
Oh, yeah.
Did you hear what the story, the hubbub?
No.
Apparently, there's a strike right now going on. I'm totally paraphrasing this, and I might get all of the details. And when I say all, more than all of the details, horribly wrong.
Yep.
But John Krasinski of The Office, old Jim, supposedly there is a, like you're not allowed to do commercials in Canada right now. There's like a strike. And he crossed the picket line. He's a scab. He don't care. And he just did it anyway.
Well, he's not Canadian, right?
Doesn't matter. He's like, but he's spitting in their face.
Yeah.
He's spitting in their face, old John Krasinski.
That's fine. If I was an American
Somebody
actor,
give me the details on that.
I
knew he was a bad guy. I've been telling you how many years. When Sam was...
No, that doesn't make you a bad guy.
No, he's a bad guy. I'm telling you, this is just the tip of the iceberg. This is just the tip of the iceberg. We're going to start peeling it down. It's going to be like Epstein's Island with this guy. I'm telling you.
Even if, like...
John Krasinski is a bad person. It's confirmed with the Canada commercial strike.
If U.S. podcasters...
Jim's a scab. Jim's a scab. The chat room's chanting it.
I wouldn't... If U.S. podcasters wanted to do some sort of strike, I'm not participating in that. Unless it's good for us. You know, I'm not participating in some strike that I don't believe in or that I have nothing to do with, you know?
Yeah, here's the let me get the ad let me get the article here and tell you about it. Yeah, but apparently John Krasinski has come under fire for his appearance in a Rogers commercial amid an ongoing labor dispute between Canadian actors and advertising agencies. The ad features Krasinski dancing to Taylor Swift's Shake It Off on a boat in Ontario, has sparked outrage among members of the Alliance of Canadian Cinema, Television, and Radio Artists who have been locked out of commercial work for over 2 years. This guy is a real piece of S. Look at this guy. One step above child molester as far as I'm concerned. I didn't understand any of that. I don't care. I don't care.
Also,
just anything to make him look bad.
I was like under fire and sparked outrage, and it's like
doesn't affect my life.
I'll
never see the commercials.
Outrage.
I'll never see the commercials. Anyway, what I really wanted to talk about was you and I were kind of in here warming up before the show, and we were talking about like technology and how there was a time when motion activated anything, normally like little knickknacks and toys, would have been the greatest technology of all time. I'll never forget the time my dad got a motion activated light above my basketball goal. He stood out there with a bourbon and Coke, making it go on and off for like 4 hours because it was magic. It was literally like you brought magic to the tribe.
Oh, I mean, it was like the sound activating the clapper or whatever the lights are. Like,
There's
that was
a reason
like, oh
that
my
was
God.
such a big deal, right?
Yeah.
Clap on, clap off. Like that is still, people still say that. I'll laugh at you if you say that. It's a dated reference, but that's the thing. So I remember driving all around Daytona Beach because Daytona would have been the closest metropolis to DeLand.
Okay, yeah.
And we would always, if we had our choice, because my dad is a good Florida man, he would always choose to go to Daytona over Orlando. But both offered malls. Daytona offered like the Volusia Mall.
Yeah, but there is a certain style Daytona has to offer.
Oh, it does. Yes,
Your dad probably liked it better.
Beach adjacent trash style. Yeah, my dad better suited for, we swing by the mall for mom so she can go to Burdines.
Yeah.
She got a letter in the mail from Clinique. Do you know what Clinique is? The brand of makeup.
Yeah.
And it would be Clinique Bonus Month. I wonder how many other only children boys know what Clinique Bonus Month is. I used to save those. They'd come in. I'd say, because I knew if I saved my mom's Clinique Bonus Month flyer, that we'd get to go to the mall. So I would see them. I'd be like, oh, mom, because I knew if she saw, I'll go to the Clinique counter, I'll buy my eyeshadow, and then they'll give me a bonus. They'll give me like a free lipstick or something like that. And I knew I'd get to go to the mall. Well, for this particular time, my dad had seen something one of his friends or one of his clients had, It was a little thing sitting on with, like, one of his clients' desk. And I don't know if you remember this, but it was a little plastic pot. And then it had like a little stick wire flower sticking out of it.
Yeah, the dancing flower.
The dancing flower. And then you would play any type of music, and the flower would just gyrate to the music as if it
to any sound, really.
To any sound, clapping. But mostly, if you got to go into music, it would wiggle its hips and give you almost the illusion that the flower is dancing. So we had to drive all around Daytona to try and find one of these goddamn flowers. We ended up finding one. We did end up finding. My dad bought 2 or 3 of them. We had them everywhere. You know, I had one on his desk. I had one in his car.
What a weird concept, driving around aimlessly and seeing if a product is sold inside of a store.
Yeah.
What a archaic thing to do.
But it used to be what you did.
Yeah. There was no other way.
No, if you wanted to hunt this down, and you'd have to use your brain power. You'd have to be like, well, who do you think has the dancing flowers?
Yeah. Is it Spencer's in the mall?
Also, I'll tell you one, like, just to go along with this, because what you're talking about, my dad did a version of the internet because he would want to find it. And I'm kind of that way where if there's a product that I want, like, I won't stop until I get it, which is kind of a sickness. But my dad would he'd get the phone book out, and then he'd get and we had stacks of these at my house, yellow legal pads. And he put a yellow legal pad next to the phone book. He'd get the cordless, the Unidyne, off-white yellow because they smoke cigarettes. Off-white yellow Unidyne. He'd pull the antenna out, and he would sit there, even if it took him like 45 minutes to an hour, and he would call every Zayres and Kmart and Roses, and you have the dancing flower. Like, he would call, and he'd check them off. And he would do
until he found the one.
Until he found the one. And if they had one, he'd beg them to save one. If they couldn't save one, he'd tell them they're a son of a bitch and curse them out or something, like, you should. And then we drive up there and try to find one. But yeah, the dancing flower. My dad had all that stuff. Billy Bass, dancing flower. Remember the dancing Santa Claus that played Alan Jackson's Christmas song? Yeah, he had the dancing Alan Jackson Santa Claus, dancing snowman, all of it.
It's funny.
All of it.
Is Tommy really likes going to stores, and he'll ask
he's
Crystal.
A classic boy.
Yeah, like Crystal took him to Florida Mall the other day, maybe over the weekend.
Yeah.
And he really wanted to go. I stay at home with Max because we have no interest. Max just wants to play video games. But,
all right.
But Tommy gets excited going to stores.
So does May.
And like he went to the candy store, went to all these other stores, and he's like, "Whoa, look at all this stuff!"
Yeah.
Like he likes.
May loves the mall, dude. The mall. I took her.
It's different.
I took her to the mall this weekend, and I have a funny story I'll tell in the BDM show. But I took May to the mall this weekend to do some shopping, and she loves it. She loved like walking around. We went into Andrea's doing something else, so May and I took off, and she's like, "Hey, can I go in this store?" I'm like, "Yeah." I just kind of let her do her thing. But she liked it. Like she likes walking around in there.
It is an odd thing now. If you have spent a lot of time and you only know the internet and like ordering things off Amazon, and like you only see things that you're interested in because of how the algorithm works and how things are marketed to you.
Yeah.
So then going to a store where there's like, it opens up all these new things that you've never seen before because those things aren't being marketed to you, because you're kind of, how the algorithm works is basically it's just creating, this own bubble where it's just giving you stuff that you're interested in.
Maybe
seeing other things outside your interests is unique.
Maybe more so than that too. Not only that, right? But you're seeing people find those things that you may not like on first glance, but you're seeing them like them and then interact with them. So it gives you that sense of, oh, there are other choices. You know what I mean? Like you're seeing other people choose things that you don't like. Yeah. And that's a good thing to see, is like, oh, this person likes, I don't know. Sometimes we don't see that. And I wonder how much of that just knowing that, oh, yeah, everybody doesn't like what I like. Like, because you actively have to watch somebody pick something that you don't like off and go up and buy it. And you're like, what? It kind of. I wonder if there's something to that. But yeah, we went to Lululemon, and because Maisie's obsessed with athletic gear, like she's like, she's been telling, she's like, I'm an athlete. Like she says that. She's like, I got to dress a certain way. So we went in there, and she found a pair of Lululemon shorts, and I did the quintessential thing where I didn't even look at the price. and they're little shorts, and we got up there, and they're like $68
for
these tiny little. It's like it's a napkin worth of clothing. I could wipe my mouth with it. Like, I mean,
oh, that's a good dad thing. We're like, what?
It's crazy, dude.
Yeah.
That stuff is so expensive. That store is just printing money, and all the different kinds of pants they have in Lululemon for men. But I don't think any of them have any underpants in them. They all have like a. They're like, why are pants made now for you to free ball? What is that?
I'm not familiar with Lululemon or like I mean they're all
it's kind of like the shorts you have. Those cool shorts you have. They have like pants, right? Like they're kind of like that with the zippers, and they're real nice, and they look almost like tactical.
Are they workout?
Not really workout, more just like athletic adjacent. But they don't have any line. There's like a chamois in the bottom of them. And I don't think you're supposed, from what I was reading, you're not supposed to wear underwear with them.
Oh, they're built-in.
Yeah, I don't like the built-ins.
A lot of workout shorts have built-in.
I don't like built-ins. I got too much going on for built-ins.
Yeah.
I can't do that. That's like you building my napkin into my hand when I go to a restaurant. Sorry, this thing's getting really dirty. You can't do that.
I think it's because like most workout, like all my running shorts, I can't wear boxers because I'm not going to wear some cotton boxers under my running shorts because they're so sweaty, it would just absorb and it would be horrible.
So I wear briefs, so I don't have that problem. So if I'm wearing shorts, I just have like briefs underneath, and if the briefs get sweaty, that's fine. I'll just take them off and put on new underwear.
Yeah, I guess it depends on the level. If you're running, you can't wear cotton briefs. Like it would be, I think it would chafe you crazy.
I mean, I wear them on the bike, and it's fine.
Yeah,
even if I'm riding outside, I just wear the shorts without a liner in them. I don't like the liner.
Yeah.
I don't need connected. It's like putting toilet paper in my shorts. Don't do that. Don't do that. Leave that out of there.
Or
put snaps on it.
The big story locally is the Lake Mary Little League won the World Series.
Congratulations.
So
brought it back to Florida. Didn't let them take it back to China. I'll tell you that.
No one in Florida has ever won the Little League World Series.
Not that I know of. No.
I looked this morning and I looked back at all the recent winners because I was curious. I was like,
I thought we had a. I think we.
I could be wrong, but
No. You're right. You are right. It has not happened. But I had heard. I thought I had heard it. Like, did we get to I'm sure
maybe
we got
a quarterfinal
to a high
or
level.
something. Yeah, something like that. But I looked back at all the winners, and it was basically like California, Hawaii in the past like 10 years have won it twice, and then I think Michigan, Louisiana, then
nice.
Japan, Taiwan, which I guess is basically the
the Chinese Taipei.
Is Taiwan.
Is Taiwan.
Which is confusing. When I was like,
it becomes
wow.
political, and then people like, you shouldn't say that. Like, it becomes like with everything, becomes political. And, you can call it Taiwan or Chinese Taipei or...
What's political about calling it Chinese Taipei?
Well, they say if you call it's insulting to Taiwan if you call it Chinese Taipei because you're stamping what they don't want, the oppressor that is Big China, on top of them. It'd be better to call it Taiwan. Then you have some people saying, no, it is part of China, so you call it Chinese Taipei.
What's on their jersey?
I think Chinese Taipei.
Okay, well, so just gonna whatever they want to be called. I'm gonna go with that.
I don't know if that is
like
what
if it
they
said
want
Taiwan,
to be called.
Oh, there's a forcing.
Yeah, I don't know.
Oh,
I don't know.
Forcing.
Yeah.
Well, whatever's written on the jersey, that's all I know.
It's just they're not Florida.
And then the coach did that speech about like this is destiny. It was written like biblical speech type of deal.
He was like, God told me.
Yeah.
I don't know if he said God. I don't want to put words in his mouth. I'd have to pull the quote.
But it was basically he was like, this is predetermined. This is written in scripture. Yeah, I think he mentioned some sort of scripture.
He did say that, but he did allude to the fact that God had told him that this had already been written in the stars.
So,
which I am a big look. I don't believe in that. But if you wanted to fire me up and you told me that, I'd be pretty fired up. He would have gotten me.
Although, that would make me like, well, I'm not even going to try. It's already...
I don't have to do nothing.
This is already predetermined.
He didn't say that. At the end, he said, all we have to do is go out there and finish it up.
Okay,
That's what he was alluding to. We got to go out there and do our work.
Okay, well, hold on. Is it already predetermined, or is it up to us to win?
I have to pull up the quote.
But also,
no. The chat room saying he did say God. Yes, I know he said God. I'm just trying. I don't want to put words in his mouth of did he say God told me this would happen. I don't think he said it like that.
Yeah.
I don't think he said it like that.
So regardless, do you have a backup plan? Because all it takes, I mean, think about
no, I think you pucker a little bit when you say that because you're like, uh-oh, why did I say that?
Like even what the play that they won, they basically bunted and the first baseman ran.
I love that it was a bunt too. That's great.
So it was an error basically because the catcher and the first baseman ran to the ball, which is an error.
A mess. Yeah.
And so, but if that doesn't happen, then and the first baseman stays on first base and the catcher just throws him out, right? Like all I'm saying is that like little things could have not happened and then they lose. And then what do you do if you're the coach and you told your players that? Because then you're like, what happened, coach? You told us this was predetermined.
Here's what he said. He said, one of the first days that we got here, I came down here, a man prayed over me. Okay, he saw my dad later, he said, it's already been written. We're already the champs. The Lord put it in his book. We're just going to finish the story right here, right now.
All right.
I had to put the Southern on there just to make it sound a little more like, Friday Night Lights or something.
But if you're thinking in the back of your mind, or do you believe, does he believe it?
I think he might believe it. Yeah, I don't want to discount anybody else's beliefs. I mean, even though I don't believe in that.
There's no plan B. Like if you didn't win, do you have to tell your players like, all that stuff because I was wrong.
The whole God thing I was telling you.
Was I wrong? Was I wrong?
No, I got it.
Middle?
No, you blame it on the old man that prayed over you.
Oh,
you're like, that charlatan, he lied to me. He prayed over me and said it was already in the God's good book. That goddamn liar. Get your bats. We're finding him.
But good for them. Also, think about like those kids. They're 10 to 12-year-olds, right?
That's amazing.
And think about how famous they are within their peers now.
They're the best. They're the coolest.
Because
you go to school wearing your baseball playing iridium blades on, everybody's like, good job, buddy.
Well, think about how many people now have been exposed to this because of their social media, and it's a trending story, and especially local, and as algorithms get better and better, like it probably was like this in the past couple of years, like the California kids and the Michigans, they won, but like
it's been a big deal for a minute.
Like, but if this happened 20 years ago, like it's not as big of a story within their peers, right? Like the school but I'm saying
we made it a bigger deal as society, and then sports stars were like, did you see all the sports stars that were weighing in? They're like, hey, good luck, Lake Mary.
But what I'm saying, like all those 10 to 12-year-olds have social media or are exposed to that too.
Not all of them, but most.
Yeah.
But yes,
and their parents and like so
it's a bigger deal. Yeah,
like more people know than would have known 20 years ago.
100%.
Like 20 years ago, it would have been a big local story, but like Ocala kids wouldn't know. Like now, all of Florida knows.
It's I would say that
it's more exciting for them.
The Little League World Series, for some reason, I think because it's still America's pastime, whether we want to admit that or not, the fact that these kids are doing something this amazing out of like I think 100,000 to 80,000 baseball teams, like across the world, right?
Yeah.
So when you think about the likelihood of them getting there, it's very rare. But it's funny that you don't see like this, at least I don't, in Pop Warner. You don't see it on a kid-like level. This is a kid-like level.
Yeah.
But for whatever reason, I think this almost presents itself because of the regular World Series and because of the pacing of the game and because, like this, you can almost do it. It's a doable thing to get a bunch of baseball teams. And like, I don't know if you have football everywhere. I don't know if you would even be able to,
not worldwide.
Yeah,
like
we know
this,
that team's going to come from Texas or Florida. We know that.
Yeah, in
we
football,
know that.
yeah.
I'll bet my daughter's life on it. Texas or Florida, top two.
That's another thing because of the sport. I think baseball.
You get South America. You get some of Europe now.
And also the game offers more competitiveness, if that makes sense, right?
Yeah.
Where everybody kind of has a shot. But you're right. If this was
there's legacy players in South America. It's just as old.
If this was Pop Warner football,
we'd crush.
But you're right. Florida and Texas,
no
some Tyreek Hill. What I'm saying? Like, they would just annihilate everybody.
You could take from Orlando down to Miami, and I could just say like all of those children against anybody you got.
Yeah.
From Orlando to Miami, just
Yeah.
all of those versus whatever you got, I'll put my money on the Florida guys.
Yeah, and because there's certain regions that they're like American football is more popular, and then like the parents let their kids play American football more.
Right.
You know, like other places don't. And then I feel like with baseball, it's kind of you got everybody's kind of cool with baseball.
But this is a bigger deal. Like you don't see the soccer World Series. And soccer, I know more kids that play soccer than baseball. You don't see this for dance. You don't see this for, like, my point is this is the big dog because of why. It's got to be because it's America's pastime, and it's cool. It's easy to make this. It's good for TV. People, like, they always get the big time broadcasters, 4K. They throw money at it.
Although it may be a little skewed, our perception's a little skewed because this is Lake Mary and we've been inundated with it.
Right.
And if this was just some California team or Michigan or something, like last year, I don't even remember talking about this. So,
Right.
maybe nothing.
I remember it coming
locally.
around because they always, I think it actually does pretty good in the ratings just because, like, we do still have a bunch of kids that play that are
people
like,
gamble
that's
on
me.
it.
Yeah, they do gamble on it. They had it on at bars. I noticed that. They had it on. Like, that's kind of cool. It's interesting.
Well, what an awesome thing, though, for those kids to achieve that and then now have the fame that comes with it social media-wise and then, like, all that, I don't know what you're able to do with it except for just an awesome experience that you will have forever.
I'm sure some kids are deciding whether or not that's it for them, right? There'll be some kids that they're like,
I bet you probably go because they're all 10 to 12, so they'll probably play for their high school.
You don't
teams.
You don't think there's one kid on that team that hated the experience? It's got to be one, right? Like one guy that's like, that's not for me, dog. That's a no for me, dog.
Well, I'm sure there's a kid that never. I don't know how baseball. Well, there's a
at
kid
this level. I don't think you're guaranteed to play. I think you got to be good.
Well, what I'm saying is there any kid on the team that didn't even bat one time, or in baseball teams you have to go through your rotation, right?
I don't know.
Or their backups, like there's like for instance. There's people like in a football team that have won multiple Super Bowls, never played a snap.
Oh, right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Like you get the ring, you're
Which,
part
by
of the
the way,
team.
I think that's the coolest position. I've said this for years. Like to work as hard as you can to get to the NFL, and then you slide into a team that wins multiple, but you never go in the game. What a great! That's awesome. But you still got the ring.
You do,
you still got the money.
It means little less, right? You never.
Whatever. It doesn't mean less. I'm still in a mansion. I still got rings.
Yeah. But the fact that you never played has to, like, when you look at that ring, it's like, are you bragging about it? Or
No. I wouldn't brag about it, but it's still better than you.
It is. Yeah, it's better than nothing.
Yeah, I wouldn't say anything about it.
And it's still your support on a team, but if you never played one snap and you have a Super Bowl ring. It is less. I guess even if you got in there during victory formation, that still doesn't even count. You're a third backup lineman, and then they just put you in for victory formation, and it's like don't even put me in.
Still cool though.
It's better
than cool.
I'd rather not even go in at all.
Really?
Not even. Yeah.
Clean slate.
Well, because then it's like, well, what did you do to earn this? And you're like,
I kneeled.
I played.
I kneeled down.
I was the backup running back that kneeled behind Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah.
It's stupid.
From our Twitch chat room, Jay Korn says, as someone else already posted, there have been 64 kids who played in the Little League World Series to make it to the MLB. Comes out to about one per year. So you could expect to see a kid from this year's Little League World Series in the MLB in about 10 to 15 years.
Hopefully it's that kid that dancing.
Oh, I like the kid. Yeah, the dancing kid. Yeah. I like them when they're having fun, man. I'm like, look at him go. Look at him go.
He's a little bigger.
I like that.
Babe Ruth
I
style.
like my baseball players a little bigger. I've said this before. I don't like skinny baseball players.
You hit the ball farther.
I like the great Bambino. I like a belly on my baseball player.
So another local story that I saw that there's two space stories. One.
Oh God, I don't want to talk about this.
One is that the people are still stuck up there in the space station.
And I've been saying how many times
that Boeing craft they don't trust it to bring them back, right?
I've brought this up every single day. I'm terrified of this. This is one of the scariest things. No one's talking about this. You know why? Because this is a big effing deal. And they're just, our government, everybody's acting like, it's fine. We'll just leave them there till February. They're good. Their bones are getting brittle, right?
Well, their muscle,
I don't know. Nobody knows what's happening out there.
But they haven't been, like, there's been like, I think the guy who broke the record of the longest human in space was up there for like a year and like 2 months.
And isn't he like 7 inches shorter, and he's got an alien in his brain? And then he kidnapped a bear and left it in Central Park.
He was fine. Although
he's that bald guy, right? And his twin brother's a senator.
I'm not sure. I mean,
and when he came back, he was like, "Oh, I'm telling you, those people are. When you spend more than 1 month in space, you become an alien, man." They're
going to now use a SpaceX craft to go get him in February.
Yeah, I guess the what's the company that makes it? The Boeing Starliner did not work out. It had helium leaks. They are using it. It's still on the I guess connected to the International Space Station. They could use it as like an oxygen, like an airlock if they need to. And I guess they're putting them on the SpaceX in February, and then SpaceX is going to rescue them, which is probably a good look for Elon. Lord knows he needs something for his image, considering he just likes to say weird things and be rude to folks.
Well, speaking of SpaceX, they're launching this Polaris Dawn, like it's a manned SpaceX mission. And so I wanted to ask you about this. So it's like another billionaires, and he put together his billionaire crew, and he's going up there, and they're going to do the first ever
poor people to space. I think that'd be more fun.
Well, billionaires at first.
No. The billionaires make the rocket, and then just fill it full of hillbillies.
Yeah. And just let them out on space.
Oh God!
Their teeth are floating.
Hot out here.
But
cold out here. What is it? It's a vacuum.
They're gonna do the first ever spacewalk by like non-professional astronauts. Like these are basically just civilians. Like it's the first ever civilian spacewalk.
Oh God!
So it
is this a purchasing a spacewalk type of deal?
Okay, I wanted to ask you this.
Yeah.
So they listed out their like 6 days in space and everything they're gonna do,
the itinerary,
like their spacewalk, and then like their 4th or 5th day, it says like they're gonna conduct 50 different experiments that are vital for future space exploration.
Are they
right?
like kid stuff? We're gonna make some slime. We made slime.
So
we're gonna make Play-Doh.
When I see that,
Alchemy Penny Lab,
and I'm like, did they just? I'm sure they're gonna do
it's like
something.
Summer camp. It's like summer camp.
Because
they're not doing real experiments that we need to do.
Yeah. Like is it pivotal to future space?
No, they're just showing you, like you're in space, and they're going to show you. Oh, look at this, look at that.
They can't just say this billionaire paid for this and he's up there effing around, right? Because that's really kind of what it is.
You know who messed this up? Those ocean mother effers.
Well,
you got enough money, you can go anywhere. But lately, us without money, we're asking questions. What are you doing up there? And it used to be experiments. Now it's just effing around, and we don't like that. Us poor people, we don't like that.
But they added experiments.
They had to. It justifies it.
Yes. For that's a publicist move, right?
Yes, is to justify the fact that they are just going up. Hey, I'm flopping around. Yeah. I agree with that.
He paid to do this, and they're doing the first ever spacewalk, which is like something.
The experiments are not experiments. I would recategorize them as demonstrations. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, like you have to show like what experiments are you doing?
Like you're not a billionaire up there on the spacewalk and you're like, I did an experiment that will help children who have pediatric bone cancer. You're not doing that. That's not what you're doing. But you will stack some cups and see how gravity affects them when they fall over, right?
Yeah. It's minor, nothing.
Yeah, it's a nothing.
Yeah.
You're
just
right.
To say,
it's to justify the fact that they're effing around.
Yeah. Because then, if they just said they paid to go up there and F around, like people would look negatively on that, right? We're like, hey, you're supposed to be up there changing humanity, not just paying to shoot a rocket.
Well,
because then they start like
trash. They're trashing it all up there. We can't even do like some of our satellites are like, it might hit this piece of space trash.
Yeah. Although nowadays, like a lot of the space trash was like other countries, like satellites ramming into each other and exploding.
Yeah, that's what I said too. Those stupid other countries and their space trash.
I'm sure United States, contributed.
We clean up our space trash.
We contributed a good amount of space trash too, but I think the main culprit are like like Russia and China's old satellites
India.
are flying around into each other. Yeah.
Yeah.
They're sending up junk up there.
Well, you sitting up a cow. You got a cow with an aluminum hat on. What are you doing over there? But I do laugh about it because it's getting like, it's like they're doing, it doesn't need to be done.
Yeah, just paying. You're paying to be a billion to go up in space and do the first ever spacewalk. You added the experiment thing just so the press can add that, so people could be like, "Oh, they're doing something that actually is contributing to humanity."
Yeah,
but really, the experiments are nothing.
When I texted you this story over the weekend, the part that I was interested in is they were saying in the article I was reading that they're going to leave the Starliner connected to the space station, but then I was kind of hoping they'd unhook it and then let it fall back to Earth, and then see what send it back to Earth unmanned, just the way you were gonna send it back with the people in it, so it can explode and they can sit on the space station and feel what it would feel like to watch a craft that was supposed to take you home incinerate in space. Yeah, that's the stuff I think about when I'm laying in bed. That's what gives me anxiety.
It probably would be fine, and they probably there's a threshold of risk that they don't want to surpass.
If you had the choice, do you go with the probably or do you wait till February? If they gave you the choice.
I wait it out because I'm sure they know, all right, you have enough oxygen, and they're, and they do exercises up there to help them with the muscle loss.
Oh, like Russell Wilson does on planes.
Yeah. There's something.
They do the Russell Wilson.
Although, God, what a
scary,
crazy experience.
Scary,
but boring day to day.
How alone are you?
Well, there's two people up there.
Yeah, but what does a voice sound like up there? Like when you're talking, what does it sound like? Does it sound exactly like the way we're hearing things here? Does the absence of gravity, does space make things sound the same way as things would sound around here?
Yeah, they're just in a capsule. Besides from no gravity, I don't think you have the same amount of oxygen you would in any sort of capsule.
The chat room asked. They've been asking this for a minute. All right, so you're up there, guy and a girl. You're in the space station.
Okay, yeah.
The Starliner got a helium leak. You don't know if you're getting back. You're in there. Are you on camera at all times? Could you look at her, she look at you, and be like, "Hey,
I looked this up one time.
Let's do this. Let's."
There's been no.
Let's at least just make out.
There's been no official report that it's happened. There's no evidence that they can point to and say this exactly happened. But I think there's been astronauts that have claimed they've had sex in the International Space Station or in space.
Astronauts that have claimed.
Yes,
I would bet my life on it with as many people have been to the space station.
Well, there had to have been the first. Look up the first astronaut to have sex in space, because I think I've looked this up before, and there's been reports of astronauts that claim that they did, but it's just hearsay. They just said they did, and but there was
there's nothing recorded. It's all hearsay.
But
100%,
because I think especially within the past 20 years, I would imagine, there's been video cameras in every single, and they monitor your heart rhythms and stuff. So
that was what I was thinking.
They would know down there that you're you're not you're unprofessional.
I can see you wanting to turn off the camera because you want to change or you want to take a poop and you know what I mean? I turn on I can also see them wanting you on camera to see what the hell's going on up there, because there's some safety in that.
I think they monitor everything.
And I think you have on a device, and I think you're hooked up, and they're monitoring how you're living at all times.
And they know which room you're in. And they know,
and I think they should, because they're trying to save your life. So, but I also feel like maybe it should be done just so we just get it off the table. Get it over with.
But someone wanted to be, and then two people agree. Let's be the first people to have sex.
They
in
should
space.
do it. They're there, and we screwed them, right?
No, I think it's happened. It's happened already for sure.
With them?
No, not with them.
My point is, we've stranded them. We owe it to them to make them famous. And now, if you have I don't know, this is a hard question. So I'm up there. I think I'm stranded, but I have high anxiety. Probably wouldn't be an astronaut.
Yeah.
Not built for it. No, but let's just say I lie all the way through the entire rigorous process, and I get past all the sensors and all the tests.
Yeah.
And they're like, this guy's as straight as an arrow, no anxiety here. And I get up there, it would and I'm still married. I'm a married astronaut. She's a married astronaut, but we think we're stranded. Do I cheat and we just take it to our graves?
Yeah.
You think so?
Yeah. I mean, at that point, if
And
you
then they're
think
like,
you're
we're
going to
bringing, like,
die.
I'm literally cheating as they're like, oh, yeah, we're bringing SpaceX up to take you home.
Although with all this, maybe in my younger years, like you say that you would have sex in a, if you knew you were gonna die and that you only had.
But you're saying that may
30.
not
Well,
may
I'm
not-
just saying I have a hard enough time getting it done on just a random Saturday. I don't know if I can
Under that
perform.
much pressure
Yeah.
of dying.
Like, I'm like you're gonna die in a couple. You only have a couple days of oxygen left, and like I don't even know if I can get it done.
I don't need to
You're
be huffing
floating.
and puffing my oxygen away.
Well, I'm just saying. At that point, you're you're gonna die in a horrible way. By the way, like I don't even know if you can get it done.
Well, there's also a part of me that thinks because I'm up there, I'll go mad, like a ravenous. Like, what if I'm up there with her and they're like, sorry, we're not going to be able to get you down. And then I'm like, oh, my God, I have to tear this place apart. I have to kill her. I have to tear all the computer.
You go crazy.
Yeah, I just go crazy. I start tearing the place apart.
By the way, you're not the first choice.
Yeah, I'm not.
I'm not. Most of these people are.
I'm not even on the sign-up list.
Yeah. I don't think it's like those saturation divers. Yeah. They're like on the spectrum.
I would do that too.
I'm
down there.
Insanely smart.
They're like, wow, something's wrong. I was like, oh, help! I got to tear this place apart. I do that a lot. When
first
things are going
instinct
wrong,
is
my first instinct is like, oh God, I got to tear this place apart.
Yeah. But that's why they find like sometimes before people freeze to death, they take all their clothes off, or like cave divers, they'll take all their equipment off. So I think it's essentially that. It's like just a extreme panic. You're doing something that is insane. Right before you die.
Yeah, it's extreme panic. It's why like you think of like a plane crashing with like Mike Tyson on it, and you just think about him like just punching and biting everyone around him, right? Because he's just like he doesn't know what to do. It's like the ultimate fight or flight.
Yeah.
Did you know that in 2015, Pornhub had announced plans to make the first pornographic film in space?
Really?
It launched a crowdfunding campaign to fund the effort dubbed Sexploitation, with the goal of raising $3.4 million in 60 days. The campaign only received pledges for $236,000. If funded, the film would have slated for 2016 release following 6 months of training for the two performers and a 6-month crew. Or a 6-person crew, rather.
Huh. So basically just buy their way onto one of these space flights and then film a porno?
Yeah. Also, Virgin Galactic received and rejected a $1 million offer from an undisclosed party to shoot a sex film above their spaceship, too. Coco Brown, the adult actress, was going to do it in 2016. Apparently, every couple of years, somebody says they're going to do this. And then we just can't get it done.
You could probably, if someone's done it on one of those planes that go up and down, and
I don't
like
think
you
that
go way
counts.
less, like the gravity.
I need you to be in suspension space.
Yeah, orbiting the Earth.
Yeah. And then I need you to finish, clean up, and still have to see the person afterwards.
Yeah.
And do the awkward where they're like taking a shower and you're still filming her taking a shower. And I'm like, that's weird. Let her take a shower. My God, why are you filming?
She's done performing.
Yeah, you're an animal. Be a gentleman.
But you definitely, I don't know how to put this. You let it fly and float around,
A little bit.
Yeah.
A little. You film that.
Yeah. You let it float for
you film that. But
while.
Then you catch it in a Dixie cup.
Yeah.
Push it out the airlock.
So, speaking of that.
I would push it out the airlock.
Justin Bieber had a baby.
Yeah, Justin Bieber did have his baby.
He's a dad now.
And yeah, he is a dad now. And I think we've continued to see less and less of him over time because he got the that scare where he had the Bell's palsy styled issue where his face was frozen for a minute. And I think he had some other health problems.
Yeah.
And I think maybe his wife had some health problems. And now they have their baby, and you just don't see much of him. And I think he's okay just being with his family.
Yeah,
he seems even on social media, he'll come out, he'll do like a performance, but when you see him just doing normal things, he literally looks like he could say like, I'm never coming back.
Yeah.
I love it when people do that, by the way.
Well, he's never experienced anything different. His entire childhood has been celebrity and
crazy.
Yeah. Then just criticized, and they just and he'll never be able to really live a normal life because he's always going to be Justin Bieber, even when in his 50s. It's like some sort of TMZ and paparazzi are going to be following him around, right? Just because
they're
he'll
trying
always
right
be
now.
famous. But I could imagine he's just probably wants to be as normal as possible, right?
Yeah.
And not, he probably doesn't want to do that to his kid either, his boy, right?
Yeah, little boy, and he went the way that I was very happy. Not that I weigh on this. You name your kid whatever the hell you want to.
Although, what if Jack Bieber, which is his son's
he
name,
named him Jack, which I was like, yes, you didn't name him weird.
What if his son wants to be a pop star? Because just with his name, he has a better chance than most, right?
Huge.
Like, if Jack Bieber can sing, he could make a run at it.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah, Justin Bieber's your dad, like Jack Bieber.
And I feel like Justin Bieber could probably teach you what to do and what not to do.
Yeah,
because I think it took him a long time to figure it out, but I think he did figure it out. I think he did get to a point where he's like, I know exactly what I'm doing, how not to get into trouble, how to be able to like run this at a comfortable. I can still do my church thing if I wanted. You know, like, it seems like once he started dialing that in and kind of pulling back from just the media and everything. It seemed like his life got better. Really?
Yeah.
He seems very happy. Like, fine. He looks fine now.
Yeah. Well, but also he's criticized for like, racing his Lamborghini down his Atlanta
like 16
neighborhood.
years old.
Yeah. It's like you have this kid that he's is one of the most famous people in the world. You have millions of dollars. Like, you're just some teenager. I'm like, what do you expect?
I was kind of hard on him at that time too, but the more I thought about it, I'm like, and think about the insane amounts of money and the insane access to to everything being yes.
Yeah.
Like a hot air balloon is there, and you're like, I want to get in that, and the person that owns it's like, like there's no for you.
Yeah.
That'll mess you up, I think.
And I guess the final story I saw, and by the way, I was looking at like, because I was like, what are we going to talk about? Let's see what's on the local news. And on 2 different local news websites, a raccoon with his head stuck in a jar was one of the stories.
That's Florida.
And I'm just like,
same story or different story?
No, same story.
Oh, I wanted different raccoons.
It's
an epidemic.
I'm like, imagine like some reporter like went to college and like internship. He's like writing the story, and it's just like, God damn.
Oh, they used to hate that. Andrew would be like watching the news desk, and there'd be like 2 reporters waiting for their assignments, and one would be like, we just had a shooting up on Aloma, and they'd be like, yes, and they run for the van, and the other person would be like, and there's an old lady who found a potato chip that looks like Jesus' face. She's like, oh, God, you got to get in the van, you drive out.
Story.
Stupid.
But one of the stories was a Six Flags in Mexico, some people were stuck on one of those, the swinging rides that basically you sit on a swing and it's held from a chain and it basically twirls around.
One of my dad's favorites. My dad loved the swing.
The twirly swing. Yeah.
He just called them the swings.
Yeah. They have one in what's that amusement park here? Fun Spot.
They do.
Yeah, they have a twirly swing. And then like in the youth fairs, they always bring the twirly swing.
I feel like they're very popular in Europe.
And in Mexico, Six Flags, I guess the people were on this twirly swing, and I guess the operator, looser probably regulations in Mexico, they just hit the start button regardless. I guess there was a storm close. And then so there's video of people up there just stuck at the top, and a storm is blowing through.
Oh, here, I have the video.
And I'm like, man, that must be terrifying for those people.
Well, here, I'll blow your mind. Here's the footage. This is from Six Flags over Mexico.
These terrified fairgoers were left dangling at 200 feet. The horrified thrill seekers were fearing the worst as their ride abruptly shut down in bad weather conditions. Theme park bosses had stopped rides at the Six Flags theme park in Mexico City due to the bad weather, while people were still on board, leaving passengers strapped in as they were hit with rain, fog, and swirling winds.
Rain, fog, and swirling winds. Oh, my God. Look at that little sweet Spanish abuela. And she's just sitting there.
I mean, they're just sitting up there and a rainstorm's coming through. It's got to be mainly, I would be more worried of the lightning because I was just like, is this thing designed to take a lightning strike and not kill us? Like, I wouldn't be
and it's kind of insulting to have your dead body just lay there for an hour after you've been fried and you're just sitting there.
But there's no like emergency. It just drops down and then
shouldn't it just gently descend? And while it's raining, everybody just gets out of their swings. No big deal.
Yeah. Like why do they have to stop it and then have everybody ride out the storm up there? Because sometimes
hold on, you got to listen to this old man. Like listen how calm this is why I love Spanish real old men. Listen how calm this guy is.
Empieza a llover y nos quedamos arriba en Superghetto.
The person speaking in the video said, It started raining and we got stuck up on the Supergirl ride. I couldn't tell if I was trembling from fear.
But he didn't say it like that. He's like, I'm up here. I can tell if I'm trembling from fear.
Yeah.
It was just like really calm, right? He was a calm dude.
Yeah,
I hated to
no
say-
one's really
I hate to say
screaming.
it like
They're just
that.
like just sitting
I
there
hate
waiting.
to say it like that. I wanted to make sure I made my point, though.
Yeah. Well, but that TikTok voiceover guy it makes it sound way worse than
Swirling wind.
Yeah. You know, it is terrifying, but you know, no one's screaming. Like, like sometimes you see videos and people are screaming for their lives.
well,
You're like, oh my god.
That's because there was
Just
nothing
waiting it out.
happening. It's
Yeah.
like it's like turbulence on an airplane. You ever notice everybody gets real quiet?
Yeah.
They don't start screaming.
Yeah. It's like, but why isn't that ride designed to have a button that just slowly lets you know move? It doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, it would be an easy thing to have.
That should be the first design in your like engineering plans, right? It's like we need an emergency button just to bring people down
Gently.
if something happens. Like that, and that's the first thing we need. And other than that, then we'll figure out all the other stuff.
Everything else is like we can run it. We can run it loose.
But it shouldn't be stuck up there, ride the storm out 200 feet up. Anyway.
I'm looking to see if anybody knows. It's just different from like different in other places. You know, like it's just like, and plus,
in Mexico.
The other thing too is that like even here, like the rides that we go on are run by children. Like you go to any theme park and the guy hitting the button and giving you the thumbs up is 15 years old. I'm like, okay, I hope you're smart.
Well, I think they're supposed to be built dummy proof again, though.
Right. If the dummy doesn't hit the button,
All right, we will be right back.
Awesome. All right. Is it lunchtime?
Yes, it is.
All right, guys. I'll see you after lunch.
We'll be on the BDM Facebook page right after